Hey there, how's it going? I have a pretty interesting video for you guys today. I'm Hipyo Tech, and I'm going to be checking out a 75% that's hot swap and under $100. This is the Epomaker Ep84. Honestly, there's not a lot of competition in this space, and I'm really hoping some more players come into the game. But I'm really excited to check out this board, as 75% layouts are my favorite. By the way, this board was sent to me by Epomaker for review, and if you want to get one yourself and support the channel, consider clicking that affiliate link in the description. Anyways, jumping right into it, this board is one of the first boards I've seen from Epomaker that actually comes packaged in an Epomaker branded box. This is essentially a Keycool K84 that's been rebranded with Epomaker branding. However, from my research, at least in the US, you can't buy Keycool boards anymore, so this is your only choice. Looking more at the box, we've got a little bit of accessories, and the board was loosely packaged in this foam. Nobody actually reads the manual, so we're just going to throw that away. And then let's take a closer look at the accessories. The accessories are nothing stellar and pretty standard stuff for any budget keyboard. You've got a switch puller, a keycap puller, and a USB-C cable. It's a pretty crummy USB-C cable, but it gets the job done. Now everybody say hello to Mr. Coffee Scale. Hello, Mr. Coffee Scale. We're going to check out the build quality of the Ep84, which means weighing it and putting it through some of the standard tests. Now, because the construction of this thing's entirely plastic, it's pretty light and comes in at around 674 grams. This could be a positive or a negative, but it definitely doesn't have that premium metal feel. Despite being pretty plasticky, it actually feels pretty nice in the hands, and the plastic has a weird matte gloss finish. I kind of like it. And as you can see here, it has a little cutout for you to route your USB-C cable. You could either route it through the middle or the sides. Let's do a knock test. Now let's take a look at the back of the board. You can see that the board has 2 adjustable feet, and 4 rubber pads for if you have it in the flat mode. These are pretty good non-slip rubber, and the board won't slip across your desk or desk mat. I personally think the default angle on this board is pretty perfect for me, but if you want to, you can flip these bad boys up. So I called this board a 75% before, and some of you might not know what that means. 75% can have a lot of different variations, but essentially what it means is it keeps the function row and the arrow keys. Now personally, in my opinion, I think this is one of the best layouts, as the function row is pretty useful for me, and the arrow keys I could never give up. Now don't get me wrong, not every 75% is perfect, and I personally have a few gripes with this board, as if you take a gander at these arrow keys, they feel really claustrophobic. I personally like a board that uses a blocker to block these off, but this works. Alright, now I told you this board is interesting, and let's look at some of the fun features. So, first things first, not very interesting, this board comes with Gateron switches. You could get it with black, blue, brown, or as I have here, reds. Here's what's more interesting, this board uses Kale hot swap sockets, so you can remove the switches and replace the switches without desoldering and resoldering. When picking a keyboard as a beginner, personally I always recommend going with hot swap, as it allows you to figure out what you like the most and kind of tinker the most with the hobby. Dampening foam too? So the stock stabilizers come poorly factory lubed, and they're honestly probably one of the worst parts of the board. I recommend swapping these out with some Durock plate mount stabilizers and definitely lubing those up. Affiliate link in the description. Alright, shout out to all the gamers out there. We're going to be taking a look at the best feature of the board for you guys, RGB. So the board is detachable USB-C, so you could replace this cable with anything, but I'll be using their cable here. Anyways, RGB time. So this board has north-facing RGB LEDs and supports full 16.9 million color RGB. Now if you're an average Joe looking for a new keyboard, this won't really matter, but if you're a keyboard enthusiast, keep in mind that this does have north-facing LEDs, which means that if you use cherry profile keycaps, you're going to have some interference on the middle row. I understand why they went with the north-facing LEDs, as most keycaps have their legends on the top, so it looks a lot better for the RGB. However, if you're worried about the interference, then you could just go with a set of OEM profile keycaps, and Taehatypes has a lot of really good ones. Speaking of keycaps, let's take a closer look at these. Now, these keycaps are pretty cheap, and probably one of the biggest parts where they skimped on this board. They're very thin double shot PBT, and the legends aren't very clear. However, they do look pretty good with the RGB on. If I had to compare them to another set, they're basically the same exact keycaps as the Drop Skylight keycaps. However, if you're into gamer font and you like the RGB, these will work great. Now, up next, we're going to be testing out the stabilizers, And honestly, they're not the worst of any board that I've seen, but as I said before, I definitely still recommend replacing them. There's still a bit of rattle, and they're not the best. So I know you right now, you're probably asking, Hipyo, what are your final thoughts on the board? Well, alright, thank you for asking, that's very sweet of you. Honestly, if you're looking for a 75% that's hot swap and gives you a little bit of room for improvement, you really don't have any other options. But let's be real, this thing's only $85, which means that it's a crazy value, especially if you like the 75% layout and want to get into the hobby without having to worry about soldering or anything. Anyways, if you like this board and you want to support the channel, consider clicking that affiliate link in the description to purchase it from the Epomaker website or from Amazon. Also, if you like this video, remember to give it a like and hit subscribe because we're making videos every 5 days, baby. Lastly, final Hipyo Tech shill time. Remember to click that join button down below. That way you can join the watering hole gang. This will give you some top secret exclusive perks, like my members only channel in my Discord where I post behind the scenes content. Anyways, it's sound test time. Remember to listen to the whole thing to support my YouTube algorithm overlords. Please, they're holding me hostage.